Hello, vinyl community. Yes, Janne is back again, and today I'm going to celebrate a pretty big day. It's a very special day because today is the 25th of September, uh, and a long time ago, in '72 on this day, the Black Sabbath Volume 4 was released. 1980 on this day, sadly John Bonham passed away. That was really tragic. And on this day, this year, it's actually my birthday. So two good things and one bad. And for today, I'm going to do a real treat. I'm going to show one album for each year I have been here on this planet. And I got really triggered when I watched Bret video about this. He was celebrating his birthday like 2 weeks ago, and I thought, yes, I will do this. It's a great challenge to do this and pick a great album from each year and recommend a song, and just keep it to one artist and not get too wide and start to do solo projects and side projects and whatever. Just keep it to one single artist for each year. And if you're interested to see his video, I will have a link below. It's called "A Life on This Planet", and so you can check it up how he did it. And I will do it pretty quick. I will not talk so much about the album except for the ones that I think could at least guide you if it could be interesting. But I have a playlist on YouTube in the description, and I will also have a playlist on Spotify, so you can have it on your phone or in the car or when you're taking the walks for a stroll or whatever. And I will show the albums, recommend one song that will be on the playlist. So sit back, let's go. First off, 2023. I will show this one. A record that has got not so good welcome on the vinyl community, and I can understand it. It was not so easy to digest in the beginning. You're pretty familiar with her style and you are expecting it to continue on that way, and now she does something different. I'm okay with that. I have listened to this so many times now, so it's starting to fall in place. And from this one, I recommend the title tune. That is a real beauty. From UK to the Irish, Fontaine's DC and the record Skintifia. This was a real treat when it arrived last year. And from this one I recommend the tune Roman Holiday. From the fifth album by the Swedish, could say, I'm not really sure how to describe this, but it's 70s rock with harsh, almost death metal vibes on the vocals, but its music is really beautiful. And from this record I recommend the tune The Wilderness, a great record from 2021. 2020 I have this dude, King Dude, and the record Full Virgio Moon. And from this black and roots blues I have picked a tune called 45666. From 2019 I go with this Portland band Idle Hands and the record Mana, a band that sadly had to change their name, so they are actually called Unto Others now. And this is good fused heavy metal. It's almost like it's like The Cure if they played a little bit harder than they do now, because the singer sounds almost like Robert Smith. And from this record I recommend the tune Don't Waste Your Time. 2018 we take a stroll to Sweden, and we have this debut record from these punkers, Viagra Boys, and the record Streetworms. Punk rock that are infected with jazz. Kinda cool, very great band to see live, and from this record I recommend the tune Sports. We stay in Sweden and we have the band Avatarium and Hurricanes from the Halos. This 70s rock doom metal band, female fronted by a girl called Janie Ann Smith. A project that started from the founder of Candlemass called Leif Edling. So you can hear some Candlemass vibes in the tunes. It's not as doomy as Candlemass, it's more rockier, but it's really great when you get the female vocals on it. And from this beauty I recommend the tune The Sky at the Bottom of the Sea, and this was for 2017. And for 16 we have the US rockers Red Hot Chili Peppers with their 11th album, The Getaway. And from this full of hits records I have chosen the last tune to recommend, Dreams of a Samurai. From 2015 I have the second full-length album from this indie rock band Hong Fo, and the album Message from Dystopia. A band that I was lucky to tour with, so they signed it for me. And from this beauty of a record I recommend the third tune, Coming Through the Rye. A real gem for the air. He sings really good and it's really musically beautiful. And check that cover. Wow. 2014 I have another Swedish act and the debut record from Blues Pills. Here you have 70s psychedelic blues, and it's also female fronted by a girl called Elin Larsson. And from this record I recommend the second tune, Ain't No Change. In 2013 I go with this blues guy Daniel Nordgren and his fifth album Buck. Here you have some rootsy blues that sounds more that it came from US than Sweden. He sings really good, and from this record I recommend the tune Moonshine Got Me. More Swedish, and from 2012 we have the debut album World Music from the Swedish band Goat. Here you have Afrobeats in a psychedelic modern way mixed with electronica. It's so cool. And from this one I recommend the tune Run to Your Mama. More Swedish, I have this blues rockers aka 70s style, a band called Graveyard, and the record Hissing in Blues. And from this rocker I recommend tune number 4. 2010 we travel to France and we have this black gaze band called Alceste and the record called Ecalice de Lune. I'm probably butchering because I can't French. And the last tune on this record is called Sur l'Ocean Couleur de Fer. It's probably wrong, but the tune is really beautiful. 2009 we have the fourth album and the comeback since Stanley passed away, and it's taken over by William Duval. a guy that sounds more like Stanley sounded himself. Black Gives Way to the Blue. A great record. And from this record I recommend the tune Acid Bubble. In 2008 we have this soul funk album TV on the Radio and Dear Science. I mostly picked this up because I have a friend who plays the tenor sax on this one. And the tune that I picked from an album that I like very much is called Golden Age. 2007 we have the second album from the Band of Horses, and from this one I have picked Is There a Ghost. 2006 we have the debut album from the Australian rockers, self-titled album by Wolfmother, and from this one I have a tune that I recommend called Tales, and it actually called Tales of the Forest of Gomes or something. I don't know why they shortened it down on the international release. And 2005 I have this American rockers, Queen of the Stone Age and Lullabies to Paralyze, and a record full of hits, so it was a little bit tricky to find one, and so I took a Burn the Witch. In 2004 we have the fourth and last album by this garage rock band Glucifer from Norway, Atomic Trill. And from this record I recommend a tune that calls The Good Times Used to Kill Me. It's pretty hard to see, but a good record. And 2003 I have the second album by A Perfect Circle, 13 Step. And from this record, it's actually a side project by the guy from Tool, and I have picked the tune The News. In 2002 we have this American reggae band Grandation together with Don Carlos and the Congos. If you can stand his voice, then you will love it, because I love it. And the tune that I recommend is Babylon Rule Them. 2001 we have This Beauty, Nick Cave and the Bad Seeds and No More Shall We Part. And from this gorgeous album I have picked the tune Love Letter. And 2000 we have This Beast, electronic psychedelic slab from Scotland, Primal Scream and Exterminator. And from this I have chosen to recommend the tune Kill All Hippies. Returning to Sweden again, and we have this indie rock band Kent and the record Hagesta Hill. From this Swedish rocker I have chosen the tune Kevlar Själ. Back to US and the fourth album released by the band Smashing Pumpkins and the record Adore. From this beauty I have picked a tune called The Tear. From 1997 we have the record with Bob Dylan, Time Out of Mind, the 30th album release by this dude. The 30th album release, 97. It's crazy. And I have picked the opening track, Lovesick. Wow, what a track. Great track from this gentleman. 96 we have the debut album from the Helicopters and Super Shitty to the Max. Kind of cool that I took the picture this. I don't know why, but here it is. And here I have chosen to take the opening track, Gotta Get Some Action Now, where we have some sample Kiss bombs. Just going to move the pile. 95, we have this beauty, Mirrorball with Neil Young, his 21st album, 21st, crazy. And from this piece of magic I have picked the tune I'm the Ocean. (1994) we have the third album released by Beck, and here is the record Mellow Gold. He got a massive hit with the tune Loser, and I have picked here to recommend Beer Can. Another debut, but from this Icelandic lady Björk. A really cool debut record from her. And from this one I have a tune called Come to Me that I recommend. Let's continue our journey, and here we are to 92 and Tom Waits' Bone Machine, his 11th album so far. And from this one I have picked the fabulous tune I Don't Wanna Grow Up. It suits so fine now today. 91 we have this English band Slowdive and Just for a Day, and from this piece of music I have picked a tune called Celia's Dream. 1919, traveling back to the US, we have this blues rocking band, the Black Crowes, that got a real bang in the sky with their debut Shake Your Money Maker, a record full of hits, and I have picked a tune called She Talks to Angels as a recommendation from this one. Back to Scandinavia and our neighbors Denmark, we have this rocker, No Fuel Left for the Pilgrims, with the band Disneyland After Dark. From this rocker I have a tune called Point of View as a recommendation. Tune it in and you will dig it. 88 we have this US rockers, Cinderella and their second album Long Cold Winter, and from this one I have taken a true power ballad called Coming Home. 87, back to England again, and then we have the band The Cult and the record Electric. Another record is smashed with hits, so I chosen a tune called Bad Run. Great record. Back to US, and another debut record from this rocking hip hoppers, Beastie Boys. From this one I have taken a tune to recommend that is called She's Crafty, and that's thanks to Harris Pilton that thought that I should listen to it because they sample some Led Zeppelin notes in that one, and it's kind of cool. 85 we have Club Ninja with Blue Oyster Cult. Not their best album, but it's still okay, and the ending on this one is really magic. The Madness of the Method, that will be my recommendation from this one. 84 we have a real killer, a real return for Deep Purple when they released The Perfect Stranger. Got massive again with both Knocking on Heaven's Door and the title tune Perfect Strangers, that was real knocking on the chart list. But there's more good tunes on this one, so I picked Wasted Sunsets as a recommendation. 83 we stay in UK, and we take Pyromania and the third album by The Flatbud. A real cool rocker, and here I have a recommendation called Billy's Got a Gun. Going back home to Sweden, where we have this beauty, is the fourth album and the self-titled by Ebba Grön. Punk rock at its best. And here I have a recommendation called Die Mauer. Back to US, and we have the punk rockers Vipers and their second album Youth of America. From this punkish rockers albums, I have a recommendation called When It's Over. Back to UK, and in 1980 we have this post-punk rock album Magazine and the correct use of soap. And from this one I have a recommendation called A Song from Under the Floorboards. Stay in UK, and we have the second album by the band Police, Regatta de Blanc, where you have hits like A Message in the Bottle and so on. But I have taken a really strange tune as a recommendation because I love it. It's the reggae infused The Bed Is Too Big Without You. A trip to Canada and the sixth album Hemisphere with Rush, and from this progressive beast I have taken the tune The Trees. Over a few miles from Canada to the States, and we had the debut by this punkish band Television, Marquid Queen. And from this one I have a recommendation called Torn Curtain. The second album released by Rainbow, and the record called Rising. Here I gladly recommend the first tune, Tarot Woman. What an opening. A long journey over to Zambia, and we have some Sam Rock together with Witch and the record Lazy Bones, 1975, and I have chosen to recommend the tune Lazy Bones. '74, we have the third album released by the American band Supertramp, Crimes of a Century. And here, just listen to the first tune, School. So good. And now we go to UK, where we end this journey. A few left. Genesis, the progressive beast, Selling England by the Proud. Recommend the opening track, Dancing with the Moonlit Night. 72, Black Sabbath, Volume 4, with a very beaten cover. And from this, I recommend Laguna Sunrise. And we end this whole thing with showing the 71 Led Zeppelin 4, What a Magic release. And from this record, I recommend to listen to When the Lead Breaks. That was all I had. I hope everybody enjoys what I have chosen. And check the playlist, listen to the tunes, comment, and if you want to send gift, you are free to do that. Else I wish you a happy day, keep the record spinning, and fridens.